Attack on a Kabul guest house left 14 people dead, including 9 foreigners. It is being called the most audacious assault by the insurgents in the Afghan capital since the start of their spring offensive. At least 1 American was killed as well. A gunman stormed the restaurant at the Park Palace Hotel in the Afghan capital as it was hosting a party for foreigners last night. Now, last half hour, we talked with General Barry McCaffrey about the Salvation Army, but this half hour, he's joining us to talk about some of these very pressing issues that we're all facing here overseas and domestically here in the United States. In general, you obviously have a whole lot of experience with this sort of thing. Let's start with the attack in Kabul. These insurgents are just beginning to continue to become more emboldened every day.
Well, you know, the attack obviously is a great tragedy, and it just underscores that the Afghan government's incapable of maintaining security inside the national capital, never mind the extensive bloodshed now going on in the provinces. It's hard to know where all this will go. We fortunately have drawn down U.S. and NATO forces to around 10,000 people. With the plan to eliminate our presence almost entirely in the coming couple of years for the President Obama leaves office. But hard to know if they're going to make it. You know, there's just no centralized sense of national identity in Afghanistan. And the Afghan army so far doesn't appear to be capable of controlling the situation.
So, I mean, we draw down completely and suddenly the Taliban's going to take over the country again?
Or it comes apart in warring factions. You know, the Pashtun, who are really the Taliban primary presence, and the Uzbeks and Hazaras, and there's just no sense of national cohesion in that country. Well, with our forces out, it looks very grim.
Well, another thing that's kind of worrisome, here at home, we just saw a ISIS-inspired attack that happened in Garland, Texas, where 2 gunmen tried to go and kill a bunch of people because they were inspired by somebody in ISIS here. And there's some vague threats that are being made over the next 6 months here by that organization. Do we have any real worry about here at home in West Michigan about some lone wolves who may be just getting involved with this group ISIS?
Well, you know, I just listened to the former acting director of the CIA, Mike Morrell, who got a new book out, and he says we're bound to have some major incidents in our future. But, you know, to put it in context, we ought to remind ourselves, there's 315 million of us. We got 10, 12, 14 million foreigners undocumented wandering around the country, and overwhelmingly they are not a threat to us. Okay. There's 35,000 foreign fighters, we say, maybe, in Syria and Iraq, but only a couple of dozen Americans. So as a general statement, our domestic Somali population and Syrian and whatever have been loyal Americans. They're happy they're here. They're not afraid of the police. They got freedom of religion, and they've been pretty loyal to us. Yeah,
I mean, but that's putting a lot on happiness, I guess, here when you do have 2 individuals who are willing to get involved there. It is a little bit worrisome. You have to agree that they've changed tactics to a certain degree. It's not about flying planes into buildings. It's about taking guns to, you know, cartoon events.
Yeah, and we shouldn't think they've given up on flying planes into buildings either. You know, I think that underscoring all that. And by the way, ISIS is now fractured, and Al-Qaeda's claiming adherence in Yemen and Somalia. So there's a disparate group of people out there who wish us ill. Yeah. But, you know, thank God for the FBI, for Customs and Border Protection, the Federal Marshal Service, the CIA, that plays a very aggressive role overseas. Mostly, we forestall those attacks.
All right. Yeah, there's too much to think about, isn't there? Luckily, we do have all those agencies that are looking out for our well-being. We appreciate you coming in here to talk about this morning, General.
Good to be with you.
Yep. The General's going to be at an event for the Salvation Army this evening here at 7 o'clock. Going to be talking about all the good the Salvation Army has been able to do for West Michigan and how it's been able to help out and actually has grown a national footprint now. It's been enough to bring the General here to talk about it. Thank you for your time today. Get ready.